Hello.
Hello, good afternoon,
Uh,
sir.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Mahalakshmi Nadar. I'm coordinator of Center for Excellence. Shall we start the session?
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Center for Excellence has come up with another session or another webinar we can see. So, today we are going to talk about the scope of Spanish language and how to take up international certification. So, over to Poonam. Please carry on.
Yes, ma'am. All right, so let's start. One language sets you in a corridor for life. Two languages open every door along the way. A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to our respected teachers, speakers, and students. My name is Poonam Naidu, student representative of Center for Excellence. Center for Excellence has made a remarkable stand in supporting students to learn and excel, and also coordinated with various institutes and organizations to enrich the skill of students. Today, Center for Excellence organizes a free webinar titled Career Opportunities in Spanish Language for all keen learners. And now, I welcome our speaker for today's webinar. That is Mr. Varun Deshmukh from AIL Madrid, Spain, and co-speaker for the day is Mr. Chris Haworth, Director of AIL Madrid and Malaga. I now request Sir to begin with the session.
Hello. Thank you very much for
Yes.
that introduction, Poonam. I'm really happy. We both are very happy to be here to talk to all of you and talk about the opportunities the Spanish language gives students for their futures and for their careers. I'd also like to thank your institution, the principal, and all the upper management for giving us this opportunity to talk to you. And it's really an honor to be here to talk to all of you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
The
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
the screens. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Varun.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name is Varun Deshmukh. Um, I currently am the head of student relations for India at AIL Madrid. We are based. We are a language school. We are based in Madrid, and we have a school in Malaga as well. And we welcome more than 3,000 students, international students a year, to our institution to learn Spanish and do professional Spanish courses accredited by the prestigious Instituto Cervantes. We also work very closely with IB schools, universities, language schools from all around the world to facilitate language courses and study programs and exams to students of these institutions. Joining me today, also a little bit about me is I'm from India. I'm from Pune, and I first learned Spanish when I was I don't know, I think uh, 25 or so. And since then, Spanish has really changed me personally as a person and my career as well. Um, and now I'm here in Madrid, working for one of the best language schools in Spain, and I'm really happy about it. So that's something about me. I'd also like to introduce you to our very dear director, Mr. Chris Haworth. He's here today with us. He was able to make time for all of us as well, and he's very, I'm sure, very thrilled to be with you guys and to talk to you as well. I'll uh, I'll invite him to introduce himself as well. Chris,
Hello? You hear me?
yes?
Okay. Can you see me?
No, actually
Mm.
not.
um, I touch on this encender la cámara, and turn the camera on, but it's not working for me. Yeah, I'm Chris Howard. I formed AIL Madrid about 15 years ago, in 2006. I'm originally from the UK, near Manchester, and after 6 years of living in London and 3 years of working as an employee in Madrid, I decided to start a language school. I had no real experience in the sector at all, except from a student side. I'd learned Spanish in different cities in Spain, in Granada, Salamanca, and Madrid, as well as in Central America, in Guatemala and in Honduras. And I'm also fluent in French, and I've done language courses in different cities in France. So over the so I wanted to put together all these experiences that I'd gained from when I was studying in different language schools. There were things that I liked in each school and other things that I didn't. I wanted to put them all together. I loved receiving my visitors in Madrid, showing them around the city, and a little bit. One of my reasons for wanting to start the language school was to be able to relive those initial years being in Madrid and see other people fall in love with the city in the same way that I did. We've over the years we've grown quite a bit. As Varun said, we're now also in Malaga. We have we have 4 locations in between Madrid and Malaga, and before the start of coronavirus, we had over 55 teachers, which then of course has decreased with the difficulty of traveling. And as actually in the last couple of months started to increase again. So around about 40 professional Spanish teachers at this moment. And yes, we previously focused mainly on classes at the actual school, and now we've diversified because of the situation, like everybody else, to classes online as well. Today we're going to be speaking, and I would also, like to extend my thanks to SIES. I'm not sure whether you call yourself SIES or SIES, but I would very much like to thank you. Thank you for the invitation to the Centre of Excellence and the fantastic work that's being done there. And today we're going to speak a little bit about career opportunities in the Spanish language. So, Varun, I'm not sure whether you can share the presentation.
Yes, of course. Can everybody see the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So should we get started, everyone?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Please.
Thank you. So again, I'd like to thank SIES for giving us this opportunity to. Can you all see me though? Sorry, the screen.
We can see the screen, Varun.
Okay. So today's presentation is mostly about the career opportunities that the Spanish language presents to students in India. As our focus is on Indian students because at the moment Spanish is very, very important in India in business scenario for students for their futures. Many companies now have requirements where candidates have to speak Spanish to converse with clients from abroad, mostly from Spain and from South American countries, or all the countries that speak Spanish. We just introduced ourselves before. Mr. Chris Haworth, he's the director of our school. He was the one who founded the school. And as you can see, that's me. I'm currently heading
The slides are not moving. Yeah.
Are they moving?
Slides are not
Slides are
moving.
not moving.
Yeah. So press F5, slideshow, and then scroll down.
It's not even full screen, Varun.
Maybe share the slideshow instead of the PPT.
Let me try again. Now
And can you make it full screen, Varun, if it is possible?
it is full screen
No, it's
at the
not
moment.
showing like that.
So you have shared the PPT instead of slideshow, I feel. That's why only the PPT is there. You can show in full screen, it will be good.
Give me one moment.
You can reshare a bit.
Okay. Let's see. Now
Yeah, you can show the PPT.
is it full screen now?
No.
Sorry, just give me one moment, please.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, now we can.
No, okay. Okay, great. Can you see the full screen?
Varun, we can, but I think it's the site of AIL Madrid and not the PPT.
On the view show at the bottom right, view show. Press
Okay.
it. Then you can, yeah, now you, yeah,
Yes, now we can.
Yes,
perfect.
sir.
Okay.
Now we can see the
Okay,
PPT.
great. Sorry about
Yes.
that.
Yeah,
I
it's
really
okay.
haven't used Microsoft too much. Usually we use Zoom, so I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay. No problem. Please go ahead.
So, are the slides moving?
Yeah, now.
Do,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yes.
okay.
Yes.
So, great. So, I'd like to start with some numbers with respect to the Spanish language. It's spoken by 7% of the world population. That's a huge number. That's a big number, and it's the official language in about 21 countries. Uh, is the third most used language on the web. Uh, so the importance of it is uh, in in every scenario and also in the web. There are almost 22 million students learning Spanish worldwide. Um, it's the third most used language in the United Nations. In 2019, there were 130,000 international students who came to Spain to learn Spanish. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Yeah. So
Yes, yes, Varun.
yeah, I'd like to talk about the job opportunities that it presents. Uh, there's an echo. Um, so outside of India, USA, for example, Spain is the second language in the USA with 50 million native speakers. Now, second largest Spanish speaking country in the world. Spain and Mexico both are in the top 15 countries in the world with annual GDP of over 1 trillion USD. It generates a lot of income. Um, and let's talk about the
I
booming
just
demand for Spanish.
mute all for some time. You can unmute yourself. There is some background noise coming. Yes, Varun sir, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, Varun.
Yes,
So yeah, in the States, there's a terrible echo going on here. I can hear myself repeating. But in the States, of course, Spanish is a massive language now with so many Latinos and Spanish people in the southern states. Many jobs require Spanish, and you listen to Spanish in all parts. The 50 million or so native speakers that there currently are going to increase over the coming years. And whilst English is always going to be in the foreseeable future, the dominant language in the United States, the importance of Spanish is going to continue really getting a lot bigger. And with that, more job opportunities naturally. Can you speak a little bit about India, Varun?
Oh, you are mute. Hello. Yes, sir.
Sir, you are on mute.
Could I ask if everybody could silence the microphones? I'm not sure whether there's lots of interference for
For
this reason.
one device, you off the mic. Say you are in two devices. Now, one of the device you mute the mic and speak. So,
Can you hear me?
yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So sorry. So we were talking about the importance of Spanish now in India. We have some figures from the Indian Embassy here in Madrid. We work very closely actually with the Indian Embassy here in Madrid. A lot of their training officers uh, of the Foreign Service do their courses with us as well as part of their required examination. They prepare with us, and then they have to do an examination for the government of India. So these figures have been taken from the Indian Embassy website. The bilateral trade between India and Spain it stands at about 6.3 USD. The Spain inward investment in India uh, uh, with around 250 Spanish companies. There are 250 Spanish companies operating and doing trade with India in different fields, from food and beverages to chemicals, rubber and plastic, electrical materials and equipment, uh, heavy engineering, motor industry, construction, defense, and Spain is the 12th largest investor in India.
And Varun, each year we have around about 50 students coming from India who tell us their stories about why they need to learn Spanish for the companies, the call centers, the insurance companies, the banks that they're working for. There are lots and lots and lots of jobs within India that are requiring Spanish right now.
So, as Chris was mentioning, right now, for example, earlier French and German were very important for India in terms of trade and in terms of job opportunities and business. But Spanish has quickly overtaken these two languages because now the business between India and Spanish-speaking countries, which are all emerging economies in South America, uh, it's increasing tenfold. It's increasing every year. There is a massive amount of business being done between India and South American and Latin American countries where Spanish is spoken. A lot of companies, for example, in India, like some examples are Accenture, Amazon, um, insurance companies like Allianz or Bupa. A lot of uh, companies in the education sector as well, companies in logistics, engineering, consultancies require tourism, require a lot of Spanish speakers. Usually, they are Spanish language experts. The profiles are of Spanish language experts who their job is to they're business analysts basically, and they have to speak to clients in South America and in Spain, and the role is very, very important. So the application of the Spanish language now is in each and every industry in India, uh, because of the growing business, as I said, between India and these countries. So the scope of the Spanish language and the importance of learning it is now, paramount. And in the next 5 years, it will be even more so. So, I mean, this is the time when our students and professionals should and are starting learning Spanish. We've seen that very clearly and sharply in the last 1 to 2 years as well, where we personally as a school have been receiving a lot of Indian students doing short-term and long-term courses, online and offline. A lot of them come to the school as well to do intensive courses with us. Uh, at the end of the course, they get uh, if they do the examination with us as well for the level, they get a level certificate, which holds a very good value, because we are an Instituto Cervantes accredited school, which is very, very important. Apart from that, we are also accredited by Fedele, Fidescu, and quite a lot, quite some important accreditations. So the increase of Spanish speakers in India is evident, and I think this is the time when students should start learning Spanish right at the school level. I mean, not once they finish their school or colleges. I think it should be introduced. Well, it is in many schools now. For example, we work with IB schools where their students now have Spanish as part of their curriculum. A lot of international schools um, promote the Spanish language more and more in India these days. Uh, uh, so it's very important nowadays to learn Spanish, and that's what we want to point out as well. Would you like to add something, Chris?
No, let's move on.
So we're going to talk about basically our exams. We do AIL exams with Spanish language schools, with universities, with colleges in India, and with all around with schools from all around the world. This is basically to give the students right at school and college level certification of the Spanish language based on the common European framework of languages. Um, this a these exams are applicable for anyone who has opted for the Spanish language at their university or at their schools, um, and they can do the exams and uh, get certification for each level. There are 6 levels in the Spanish language, from A1 to C2. A1, A2, B1, B2, and C1, C2. Um, and the exams that we offer are 2-hour exams, and uh, they constitute of all the 4 skills required, like the written skill, speaking, listening, and oral comprehension. Um, this is all based on the Spanish Education Board's Instituto Cervantes framework, because as I said before, we are an Instituto Cervantes school. Uh, so these are all based on internationally standardized patterns. The oral test is will be carried out by the written exams are done by students in a formal setting. It will be in at the school, at the university, um, in a classroom, and it's a 2-hour long examination, um, followed by which there will be an oral part, which will be done by our teachers at AIL Madrid online. The exam results are communicated in a period of uh, maximum 2 weeks, and then once the student passes the exam, the passing mark is 60%. We progress to they get a certificate for that particular level. For example, if there is an examination for say level A2, the students who pass the examination will get a C2 will get a A2 certificate at the end of the examination when they are corrected, and this certificate will be very important for them, for their careers, for their future opportunities, because it holds great value in terms of your achievement in the Spanish language formally. The prices of the examinations are also affordable. Obviously, the school, the university will tell you about the prices once we announce the exams. Chris, would you like to take this one?
Yes. So we mentioned a little bit about this before. We have the language schools in Madrid and Malaga. And right now we've got over 40 fully conditioned classrooms. And yeah, and the school is going well. We have lots of students that are really happy with the studies and their education. I'm unfortunately continue having audio problems here, but maybe that will stop. As I said, we're now doing lots of online classes. There are lots of students doing the AIL exams. There are other exams out there as well, but our exams have certain advantages, namely the fact that they can be done in your university. The results come very quickly within this 2-week period that Varun said. They're well recognised. We are the leading Spanish school in India. We've got the largest reputation. We have more Indian students coming to us. We have high schools and international schools from doing trips to visitors in Madrid and in Malaga on a yearly basis. So you'll find that employers recognise our certificates as we recognise other certificates as well. But in terms of price, flexibility, and accessibility, I don't think there's really any other exam that really compares with ourselves. Unfortunately, right now, the chances of coming to see us in Madrid are a little bit harder than they would have been 12 months or just slightly longer than 12 months ago. Obviously, with the current situation, which we expect and I hope will be improving soon, we are focusing more on the learning and complementing your university studies. As I understand, Spanish is an option for you within the language department. Not whilst there aren't there's no Spanish major degrees, an introduction to Spanish will be very beneficial. Okay, Varun?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so that's pretty much the end of our presentation. Thank you very much for listening. We'd be open to have any questions the students or the staff would have about the exams.
Yeah, I just would like to brief what exactly SIES and AIL Madrid is planned to. Students, the college has collaborated with them to offer you international certification. So college already has a Spanish language. So those who wish to go for international certification, they need to pay the certification international exam fees, and examinations will be in collaboration with El Madrid. that is located in Spain. So those who are planning to go for higher studies or you want to take up career in Spanish, so you can really think of taking obviously enrich your career profile through the certification. So you all have any query, we have with us the director of AIL Madrid from Spain, Chris Haworth, and we have the Mr. Varun Deshmukh. You can put forth your questions. Yes, Poonam,
Yes,
or
ma'am.
students, if you wish to ask, also you can put in the chat box.
Yeah,
We'll
if
just
you all
have
have any
to see this.
questions regarding Spanish language, just put your questions in the chat box.
You can unmute and speak also. You can raise your hand. Not a problem.
Varun,
Yes.
yeah, can you please tell them the difference of having the international certification? Because I think like our title goes that is career opportunities in Spanish. I think you would be the best example for that. Like you mentioned that you learn Spanish and now you're working in Spain.
Yep. Thanks for the question. Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to share my experience
Right.
uh, um, with everyone. Actually, apart from the formal presentation and everything, um, I'll just share my experience personally. I, for example, did my masters in tourism from the UK, and then I thought of learning a language, and I always was very interested in learning the Spanish language because it's spoken by so many people in the world from different countries and cultures. So I first came to Spain to learn Spanish. Um I did an intensive Spanish course uh, in the south of Spain, and also later on at AIL Madrid itself. Uh, the Spanish language has given me, for example, a lot of uh, benefits in my life in terms of my career. Uh, as you know, I work in the tourism and hospitality and education, language education industry. I really got a lot of job opportunities because of the Spanish language. Um, because I think the tourism industry and languages go hand in hand, and now this is the case for most of the industries, uh, because of as I was explaining before, the business that's growing between India and Spanish speaking countries. So I, with tourism and the Spanish language, I mean, it really catapulted my career personally, and I'm very happy learning the Spanish language. Uh, I made a lot of friends uh, from all over the world, from Spanish speaking countries as well, and yeah, it has really enriched my life personally.
How it will help the students to get a job or equivalent opportunities? I mean, if they have the international certification,
Hmm.
so do you think that's going to help them a lot? I mean, rather
I
having a normal certification, maybe that is by maybe a Mumbai university or maybe from a college, and having
Mhm.
an international certification.
I think an international certification from Spain holds a lot of value. All certifications all over the world are important, but a Spanish language certification from Spain, from a language school that is accredited by the Instituto Cervantes, uh, Fidele and Fidesco, and one of the most important accreditations, world accreditations of the Spanish language. It really gives your profile a star. So for example, when a student goes when a candidate goes for a job interview, and they have this certificate in their hand, um, from one of the best Spanish language uh, academies in Spain, like AIL Madrid, which are accredited, as I said, by Instituto Cervantes. It really sets apart the candidate, and also because the quality of learning and education is really what these schools are these companies are also looking for. So it's very important to have a good certification, and we certainly are one of the best in Spain. So it really would be good for them and for their careers.
Okay.
I had this question, like maybe right now, not post pandemic. Will there be a students exchange program if through this type of certification, so or some type of internship or some training for few days at least? This will really help the students uh, on this way of certification process apart from the training online.
Mhm.
Maybe for after post pandemic, will is that opportunity possible?
We can certainly think. For example, I'll give you an example of a school in Hyderabad. It's called the International School of Hyderabad. They it's an IB school. They do a cultural immersion program with us for their students of the Spanish department, who have taken up Spanish every year as part of their um, optional curriculum. And their students come to us, they come to Madrid, and they do programs with us. This is obviously a different type of program than what you're referring
Mm.
to, but we can certainly devise something together to so that the students can benefit in the future and come to Spain on some sort of an internship kind of a or a
Yeah,
learning experience. We'll have to devise something of that sort, but
Yeah,
certainly we can think of it.
with with many other school countries and schools in Europe and North America, we organise language and cultural and work experience days from 2 weeks, 3 weeks, in which there's visits to companies, there's presentations, there's cultural trips around Madrid and the surrounding areas, the mountains, uh,
okay.
everything in Spanish. It's really ideal for those that have already got some level of Spanish, so they can take full advantage of it. Um, so we can very much do programs to suit specific needs. There can be exams. There can be business Spanish. We
Mm.
can do this. Each school, each university has their own preferences and requirements and profile of students. Sometimes we do Spanish for medical students, for engineers, for accountants, for business. So there's a wide variety of profiles of university students that come, and we organise classes for. This, to be honest, isn't
Great,
we don't
great.
have too many groups coming too many groups from India, university groups coming from India. But obviously, it's that's historically been the case. But going forward, I'm sure there'll be we're seeing a lot more interest, and I'm sure we will be having more, organising more groups for university students from India in Spain once the current situation is obviously passed.
Yes, that's great. Yes, thank you, sir. Anyone has any other questions to ask students' point of view? Poonam?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Yeah, hi. So actually, I just wanted to know that actually I was planning for masters in UK. So in the current time, what is the scope for Spanish in UK in terms of jobs and work and all that?
I think Chris perhaps
Yeah,
would.
yeah, sure. So the question was in terms of job opportunities in the UK right now. What was the question
Yeah,
with,
exactly? Sorry.
with respect
and
to the Spanish
I
language.
want,
Yeah,
yeah, I just want what are the work opportunities in
yeah,
UK, like planning for a masters in UK. So accordingly,
yeah. Obviously, the whole of Europe is on a little bit of a slowdown right now, economically, and then we're in a little bit of a waiting phase. with obviously lots of expectations around the success of the vaccination programs, which in the UK is happening very, very well. I know there's over 22 million, I think, or 24 million people that have already been vaccinated, which is like more than a third of the population. In the European Union, we're not doing as well with the vaccines. We're going to be a few months behind. The procurement wasn't as good. The borders are very much open for international students in the UK. For masters, they're going to be starting in September, October. I don't suspect there's going to be any issues with the normal requirements of either of having a negative PCR test in the 3 days preceding departure. But I don't think it's going to. It should affect enrolments too much. Of course, right now in this current year, all over the world, universities are working on a hybrid basis, either with no presential classes and everything being online, or with a reduced number of face-to-face classes. And each university is really taking decisions based on the national guidelines. So it's I feel it's a hard time for university students and people in their early 20s wanting to travel, wanting to discover the world, and facing these limitations that there are right now. But we do need to be positive. At the same time, we can be realistic and positive that we're not going to be in this situation forever. And there are jobs. The difference about this, in my opinion, about this, let's say, economic downturn that we're having, certainly in Europe and North America, which is areas that I know more about, the governments have been very much spending heavily to keep the countries afloat and going into huge amounts of debt. As individuals, we've not got the opportunity to travel, to go out and to do as much. So we're actually saving more money than we would usually. So once we get the opportunity to spend money again and to travel and to go out, and then we will do. And obviously, the more money that we're spending, the more jobs are being created. So I personally think that 2022 and 2023 are going to be quite very good years for the European, North American economy and the world economy in general. It's very much different circumstances to previous recessions and economic crises that we've had in the past.
Okay, actually, I wanted specifically about Spanish. Like, what kind of scope does Spanish have in UK?
Well, so yeah, Spanish in the UK. There's lots and lots of work in Spanish, especially in London. There's a large Spanish-speaking community, and there's lots of call center work and businesses that are dealing with multicultural, multilinguistic inquiries. So yeah, there are job opportunities. What you will find, though, I think, is the competition will be quite fierce, because there are also lots of Spanish and Latin American people in the UK who may have a worse level of English, so we'll be looking for jobs that really need their native Spanish. So, for example, someone with probably the best native Indian Spanish teacher, native Indian Spanish teacher in India, may not be able to get a job as a Spanish teacher in Spain, just because the expectation for students who come to Spain to learn Spanish is to have native Spanish teachers, although that Indian teacher could be a far better teacher in Spanish. Just what I'm trying to say is that I don't, it's not going to be, I wouldn't come to the UK thinking about, okay, I'm going to learn Spanish and I'm going to apply my Spanish. I think there's going to be a lot better options to come to Spain knowing Spanish, or go to Mexico and being a native English speaker and being able to use your English language skills that the other Spanish people don't have. That is something that's going to more differentiate you, I think.
Oh, okay. Right.
Thank you, sir. Very nice, elaborate explanation. Yeah, Poonam.
Thank you, sir. If there are any questions, y'all can ask. If not, then I'll end this session with a vote of thanks.
I'd just like to add one thing. Hello?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes. No, if any students have any questions regarding the AIL exams or about the school, about what we do, you can write us on india@ailmadrid.com, or you could also alternatively write to Manali ma'am, who will address your questions to us, and we will get back to you with responses about them. So I'm going to write the email address in the chat, where you can ask your answers about anything related to the Spanish language courses, opportunities, and I'll get back to you personally about your query and about your questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, Varun. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, and one more thing, the exams which you're talking about, will they be online or offline? I mean, is it possible this year to have those exams online if students are interested, especially say level 1 or level 2?
This year we have decided to go online.
Yeah.
At least for another 6 months, it's
Mm-hmm.
not possible to go offline. So as we decided through the dual mode, so like
Right.
our
Correct.
college
Correct.
exam, we can have that. That would be ideal way of proceeding. Till the proper university circular comes for offline exam, we will go with online.
So this
Ab- abs-
Spanish level 1 exam is online, right? If the students want to appear.
Yes,
Absolutely. So the exam, as we discussed before as well, due to the situation, most certainly we can do the exam online, uh, all the parts of it, till we are able to go to school and do it at the school. So definitely this year, absolutely don't worry, we can do it online. And then whenever you're ready, when the school reopens and when the students would like to take the examination at the school, we will start that mode as well.
What I would like to add here is that we've got very rigorous procedures behind the online exams. For example, obviously, video cameras need to be turned on all the time, no mobiles present, and the invigilator needs to be able to be watching the students. So I mean, we've got a very strict processes for the online exams. So as to ensure the integrity of the exams is not affected. The oral tests happen with the AIL Madrid teachers, and yeah, that will be that's by video conference, that element of the exam.
S- So we've put we've written our email addresses and our LinkedIn profiles there as well. So students feel free, and staff and teachers feel free to ask any questions. We'll be more than happy to clarify any questions and doubts that you would have about the exams, or in general about anything about the Spanish language, or any guidance that the students might need.
okay.
And
Thank
can I
you so much. Yeah.
can I also take the opportunity to apologise for my terrible audio sound quality earlier? That was very, very frustrating. I think I've fixed the problem now, but it was very, very annoying
Yes,
at the
sir.
beginning. So my sincere apologies for that.
It's okay. Yeah, Poonam.
It's okay. Thank you, sir. I take it as my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of Center for Excellence, SIES College of Arts, Science and Commerce, to all present here on this wonderful Spanish webinar. A warm extension of gratitude to our speaker, Mr. Varun Deshmukh and Mr. Chris Haworth, sir. I would also like to thank students for giving us their valuable time for this webinar, and my heartfelt gratitude to the coordinator of COE, Professor Mahalakshmi ma'am and Miss Manali Nathu ma'am, also Dr. Vanita ma'am. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so much for
everyone.
inviting us as well. It
Yeah,
was really productive.
any queries you can write to us. I'll put the email ID in the chat box, and you all have my contact details. We also have our Telegram group. We'll mail you the link. Thank you so much, Alan.
Thank you very much. Thanks. It was a pleasure being here with you, all of you today, and speaking to you. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. And have a good afternoon.